Diet. It's something that a lot of us struggle with, and we are we're always looking for different fads, different ways to get in shape, to get healthy, and to live higher quality lives. But diet is something that we don't understand goes much further than the idea of dieting as though it's a temporary thing. In truth, when it comes down to dieting, your diet is your lifestyle, your daily diet. Okay? Use the word diet as though, okay, we're just going to change our diet temporarily. That doesn't work. You have to make a commitment. One of the favorite series of mine right now, if you didn't notice already, is Karate Kid Cobra Kai, which picks up 35 years later after the original film, I think. And basically, we have Ralph Macchio, Johnny Zomba. I don't know if I got his name right, but he portrays no, not Johnny Zomba, but he portrays Johnny Lawrence. And what's really interesting is that he actually had to get back into shape. Yeah, he actually had to get back into shape so that he could actually play the role, okay? So that he can actually do it again. His name is William Zabka. And he's 53 years old, which is actually interesting because that would make him younger than Ralph Macchio. And this is a guy who has had back pain and various issues, and he actually talks about his workout regimen. I want to talk about a diet called the carnivore diet today, and how this diet can be used to optimize your health. And I've trained in martial arts. I have a pretty hectic workout routine. And I've learned that one very big issue that we encounter is the fact that we often reduce our calories too much, and our bodies are becoming malnourished. And it goes both ways. So, for example, you can consume 5,000 calories and still be malnourished. And you'll say, how the heck is that possible? It's because your body's not getting the vitamins and minerals that it needs. It's not getting the electrolytes that it needs, okay? So you can put down 5,000 calories, but really your body is starving. On the other hand, you could eat 500 calories a day and your body is starving, so it starts conserving. And you don't see any results that way either. And you're malnourished. The problem is the way we think about dieting, fitness, and exercise today. Okay? I've learned over my life that it doesn't come down to so much how much you eat. More so, it's about what you eat. And that really affects how you look and how you feel, and determines your ultimate optimal health. I've been doing carnivore for a few weeks now, and I've seen some amazing results. Everything from helping to clear up my sinusitis, which I've had to take medication for many days, many years now, every day, to seeing drastic improvements in my physical health, my appearance, and I'm very happy with that. I'm very proud. And when it comes to carnivore, the fact really helps you in your workouts and your exercises. I find drinking, coffee, basically keto coffee, which is MCT oil or coconut oil. I use coconut oil, but it has the same elements, MCT, along with I like to use coconut butter, but they usually recommend grass-fed butter. And basically those combinations of fats really help to stimulate your body and give you a huge boost that your body needs. So in fitness and exercise, the carnivore diet can really help to optimize your health. It can really help to optimize your mind. It can make you feel good, and it can really improve your quality of life. There are going to be some ups and downs in the beginning with it. For example, diarrhea. We're adults, we're human beings. It's something that a lot of people will encounter in the beginning with the carnivore diet as your body is adjusting to high fats, okay, and maybe even higher proteins. Now, I want you to understand that these things are typically temporary, okay? And you might think, well, carnivore and keto, those are the same things. They aren't. I'll give you an example with me. I'm allergic to trees, okay? I'm allergic to trees and trees and trees. And I found that my allergies have become much more controllable now that I've actually stopped consuming plants. After doing some research, I came to discover that there actually are a lot of people who are allergic to plant food. Human beings are called omnivores. Basically, it means that we consume both plants and meat. However, there's some oddities about that. While some scientific researchers would like to say that human beings were never meant to eat meat, if you actually look at our dental structure, we have what we call canine teeth, and the very purpose of those teeth is to eat meat, okay? Especially meat that's rough and needs to be ripped apart more easily. In reality, I question if we are actually omnivores or even herbivores for that matter. Well, not outright herbivores, but if our bodies are optimally designed for consumption of plant-based foods and minerals. Again, you're going to say, what? When you think about this very carefully, say that our bodies are not designed to consume meat. Think about this. When we are babies, it is our mother's milk that gives us nourishment, all right? And actually, over time, our bodies, some of us are still lactose intolerant, but we basically expanded upon a gene that allowed us to digest milk, because historically we couldn't, right? And basically, people who could digest it, they survived and they thrive. The big point that I'm trying to make is that through human biology and changing over time and evolution to some degree, we have become adjusted to the very consumption of animal-based products. And we are animals too. So think about that. Our very first experience comes from our mother's milk and the necessity to consume our mother's milk to be healthy. It's our mother's bodies that determine if we're going to be healthy babies, and ultimately if we're going to be healthy and strong people. We owe our moms a lot for that. And it's important to consider that relationship when it comes to the kinds of food that we put into our bodies, and why our bodies need animal products, need animal fats, need animal protein, because we are humans, but we are still a species of animals on this earth. And I want to emphasize that because I think a lot of people take that for granted. They take it for granted that we still have animalistic needs and necessities. We are biological. I believe God is great, but at the same time, we need to understand that we share the planet with others as well. And just because we may have transformed it or we do things to the earth doesn't make us the only beings on this planet or the only ones of any importance. Mother Earth is here for a reason, and she supports multiple different species of life. It's amazing. And we need to look at not just our ancestors, but our closely related species, primates, so forth. A lot of things that people don't know about primates, for example, is that many primates eat meat. Okay? Many primates eat meat. They are serious meat eaters. But you'd be left to believe that they are primarily plant eaters, or maybe you see them like, crunching on ants. In reality, many primates consume meat. It's a part of their diet. And I think that we need to get back in touch with that part of ourselves so that we can move forward towards having better and more optimal health that will make our quality of living much better. So I have an article. Well, this is, I don't want to say, maybe it is an article, but it's an overview of all you need to know about carnivore, all meat diet. And I'm telling you guys, you can cure so many things with this diet. It's amazing. So this was written by Lizzie Strite, and she's a registered dietitian. And basically, the carnivore diet consists entirely of meat and animal products, excluding all other food. A lot of people do specifically beef. All right. So the carnivore diet is also known as an elimination diet, as you're basically eliminating everything else. You're eliminating plants, you're eliminating soy, you're eliminating everything else. And this allows you to begin figuring out what you can eat and what you can't and what you're not allergic to. And a lot of people find that beef is the most tolerable thing on the carnivore. They start out with that, and they start seeing amazing results. All right, so this article actually reviews the carnivore diet, including whether it can aid in weight loss. Spoiler, it can. I'm seeing so much weight loss and improvements in my physical being. It's amazing, as well as my mental health. Okay, and it's also the potential downsides. So what is the carnivore diet? The carnivore diet is a restrictive diet that only includes meat, fish, and other animal foods like eggs and certain dairy products. It excludes all other foods, including fruits, vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and seeds. Its proponents also recommend eliminating or limiting dairy intake to foods that are low in lactose, a sugar found in milk and dairy products such as butter and hard cheese. The carnivore diet stems from the controversial belief that the human ancestral population ate mostly meat and fish, and that high-carb diets are to blame for today's high rates of chronic disease. Guys, I want you to think about this. All right? If you go back long, long ago, you could pretty much, and dinosaurs were gone long before humans ever stepped foot onto the earth, evidently, if you follow science. I follow God, but yeah, science, and I believe God created science for us and shows it. And I think that when it comes down to science and when it comes down to human beings, think about the nature. Human beings were around, I think, during the Ice Age, the last Ice Age 2, maybe. I don't know. We've been around for like 200,000 years, something like that. Just kind of short, as we are. And if you look at how we've been shaping up, where exactly would people be getting food from during an ice age? Okay? During the, it takes trial and error to discover what foods are edible from what foods are not in terms of plants. When it comes to animals, you can eat almost anything, and you're all right. There are of course limitations, and exceptions, right? And but when it comes to it, you'll already animal meat, animal fats are the fastest accessible protein and source of nutrition for human beings, especially those going on the go. And many, only eat one time a day because, well, they would only be able to eat one time a day. So my thought on this is that it's very, very important to get back in touch with this because, again, I am seeing results and there are others as well. Other popular low carb diets like the keto and paleo diets limit but don't exclude carb intake. However, the carnivore diet aims for zero carbs. So what ends up happening is some of you might think it's nonsense, like the idea of eliminating lettuce and kale and spinach and broccoli. But what people don't know is that you may be allergic to these foods. You may be allergic to these foods. You may not feel well after you eat these foods. These foods may lead to significant inflammation, all right? Constipation, because your body is not able to properly digest them. Our bodies are different. Think about this carefully. Like I said, there's a lot that we don't know about our genes. But what we do know is that we have a specific gene that allows us to digest lactose, all right? And to this day, not everyone is able to optimally digest lactose, all right? And it's all genetics. It's because of that gene. Just like that, undoubtedly, it's very possible that we also have other genes that allow us to break down plant foods and meats and so forth. And while most of us can eat meat, not all of us can eat plant-based foods, okay? I'm allergic to plants, and yet I eat plants. It's weird, isn't it? I'm allergic to plants, and yet I eat plants. And, why didn't we ever put two and two together? I'm allergic to plants, and yet I eat plants. And I never really came to realize, wait a minute, you ever think that's why I'm possibly getting sick all the time? Like I said, my sinusitis, which I've had chronic sinusitis for years, I've seen improvements with it. I've seen some real health benefits from that. I want to share that with you. For those of you that are into physical fitness and training, for those of you that like martial arts, for those of you that are fans of Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid, or whatever, you can actually gain a lot of benefits from using the carnivore diet, okay? In your fitness, in your training, in your life. It also helps with depression. and you don't just have to take my word for it. Go and have a look. Check it out for yourself. All right? Sean Baker, a former American orthopedic doctor, is the most well-known proponent of the carnivore diet. He cites testimonials from those who follow the carnivore diet as proof that it can treat depression, see what I said, anxiety, arthritis, obesity, diabetes, and more. Guys, much, much more. However, no research has analyzed the effects of the carnivore diet. What's more, in 2017, Baker's medical license was revoked by New Mexico Medical Board due to concerns about his competency. Let me explain medicine to you today, guys. All right, I want you to understand medicine. Doctors aren't curing, they're not curing. Doctors aren't curing. What doctors are doing, doctors are treating. They're basically prolonging these chronic ailments, okay? And all of this is kept in line by insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies because they want you to keep buying their products over and over and over. When you work for a pharmaceutical company, your goal is not typically to find a cure, although sometimes that happens. The goal is to basically make a better version of the previous substance that you were using to treat patients with. So it's kind of like a new pair of shoes coming out every year, except this is stuff that you're putting in your body. And Like you got to get those new Nikes every year. You know, don't want to be out of date. And when it comes to these pills, like, oh, you got to get the new pills, new brand every year or every other year where you put something out new because, oh, this one has fewer side effects or this one has more health benefits. But in reality, it's not solving the problem. There's a lot of things today, ailments, that can just be solved with diet alone. Diet that don't require uh, a diagnosis that leads to being, given a treatment regimen with medication. Instead, you can cure a lot of this naturally. And if you think it's a joke, think about how rates of cancer and all these other things have skyrocketed in just the last 100 years. 100 years, 200 years. As we become more technologically advanced, why is it that rates of cancer are increasing? If I remember reading something that went back to the ancient Egyptians, and evidently they had cancer back then. And something was made very clear by that it was very rare. Cancer was very rare back in the old days. It was not a normal thing, it was rare. Okay? And they had means of dealing with it. But suddenly, we live in probably potentially the most technological era that this world has ever seen. I don't know. I don't know if we were like had flying cars like a million years ago and like then boom, that meteor hit and then like we had to like reboot. God just like, oh, start over. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that we live in this age. We live in this age and you look at how people they're not getting healthier, they're basically just living longer. There's a big difference between getting healthier and living longer, okay? Basically just prolonging the inevitable. And what we need to focus on is using alternatives and natural healthy means of improving our health and optimizing our outright health. And we can do this by looking at what our ancestors did and how they lived their lives. How do you follow the carnivore diet? So it's pretty simple. Follow a diet eliminates all plant foods from your diet and exclusively eating meat, fish, eggs, and small amounts of low lactose dairy products. Food to eat include beef, chicken, pork, lamb, turkey, organ meat, salmon, sardines, white fish, and small amounts of heavy cream and hard cheese. I'm going to tell you guys right now, again, be very careful with hard cheese and heavy cream. Heavy cream, I think, can kind of work for a lot of people, but hard cheese, the contents, the lactose, butter, lard, again, those are also allowed. Again, you want to be practical about them because that's dairy, and dairy can throw your diet off. So be very, 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 very practical and careful when it comes to heavy cream and hard cheese and even butter. When I prepare my food these days, I've discovered that I don't usually need a lot of oil or any oil at all to cook them. I use like a flat skillet. I have a couple now and I love them. And I can prepare my food really well and really fast. And when you're cooking like a lot of meats, like you'll find that they have their own fat in them and you'll start seeing the fat coming out into the pan and providing lubrication or basically providing the natural oils and juices that you can then cook your meat with. So I think we overuse these things as well. You don't need to really spend all your time consuming that. The carnivore diet encourages drinking water and bone broth, but discourages drinking tea, coffee, and other drinks made from plants. Discourages drinking tea, coffee, and other drinks made from plants. It provides no specific guidelines regarding calorie intake, serving sizes, or how many meals or snacks to eat per day. Most proponents of the diet suggest eating as often as you desire. Can it help you lose weight? I'll tell you guys something very interesting. So I made a friend and she put me onto the carnivore. I'd heard about it before, but she's been helping to guide me. My caloric intake was really low. I was doing extremely high intensity workouts, and I had a caloric intake that was just wickedly low. Like, we're talking sometimes 500, 600 calories a day. And after speaking with her, she pulled out a calculator. This was actually yesterday, and like, she was like, she did the calculation, and my body actually needs, based on not doesn't go by your current weight. We're not talking about maintaining your body weight. We're talking about what your body actually needs to survive. My body needs almost 3,000 calories a day, 2,955 calories a day estimated, to not be malnourished. All right, from animal fats. I need almost 3,000 calories a day to not be malnourished from animal fats. The reason why is because of my high intensity workouts. I work out very, very high intensity. And something interesting is that your body will actually begin restricting loss. It's like, if you're not getting enough calories and you're doing high intensity workouts, your body's going to say, yeah, we're just going to hold on to your weight. We're going to hold on to this fat because we don't know when we're going to need it, because you're pushing us so hard. There's only so few calories coming in. That's how it's going to treat it. All right. I've seen such amazing results since I've started using the carnivore diet. And of course, I have my ups and downs with it. Okay. Just like with any diet. Like I said, diarrhea, your stomach adjusting to the diet, is something that takes time, and it's gradual. You can see some very, very significant improvements. Following the carnivore diet will likely cause you to feel fuller and eat fewer calories overall, at least in the short term. But here's the thing, guys: you have to be careful with that, because a lot of people eat lots of calories on carnivore. In fact, they end up eating more calories. All right. So there are some people who will eat less, but that's because they were consuming like 3,000 or 4,000 calories a day in junk food and carbs. So there's a difference. All right. One 3-month study in 132 adults with excess weight or obesity compared the weight loss effect of 4 energy restricted diets containing varying amounts of carb and protein. Those who ate high protein diets with 0.4 to 0.6 grams of protein per pound, 0.9 to 1.3 grams per kilogram of body weight per day lost significantly more weight and fat mass than those who ate 0.3 grams to 0.4 grams of protein per pound and 0.6 throat's dry, 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. And other studies show similar results, suggesting that increasing protein intake and reducing carb intake may lead to more sustained weight loss than diets that are lower in protein and higher in carbs. However, you do not need to completely eliminate carbs to lose weight. Rather, reducing your overall caloric intake, which may be easier to do with a high intake of satisfying protein, is the main driver of weight loss. Plus, the highly restrictive nature of the carnivore diet makes it difficult to follow long term. That's not true at all. Okay. Another very important thing is that while protein is important, you're actually increasing your fat intake. Fat tastes good, and it's actually the fat, not the protein, that's going to give you that boost, that's going to give you that energy, and that's also going to allow your body to start burning your own body's natural fat. If you consume too much protein, your body can then begin converting that protein into glucose and using that to get its sugar fix. You don't want that to happen. All right? Your body cannot convert fats into sugars. Although there is a process, I forget exactly how it works, but if you're like in like the starvation type mode, your body can basically convert your fats into one thing, and then it can convert those into another thing, and then convert those into sugars. But it's such a long and strenuous process that it's less likely to happen, and it really only is going to happen mostly if you're so deficient in glucose that your body needs to turn to your fats to make that happen. So that's the reason why fat is so amazing. It really helps your mind. And don't forget that much of our brain is fat. Our brain's composition is made up of a lot of fat. And we need those fats. We need those essential fats and oils so that our brains can function well. And a lot of people didn't know for a long time that, our brains can create new brain cells, which is something that blows my mind. Like, what? I got a new neuron in here? And I'm thinking that the process of doing that facilitates that, has a lot to do with the animal fats that we consume and our brain using that as fuel to repair tissue, to create new tissue. All right? There's also the whole blood-brain barrier. And I think that it definitely crosses over there and helps with cognitive function. All right. Some of the benefits of carnivore diet, I can tell you right off the bat, is going to be you can see reductions in your blood pressure, you can see improvements in your skin, you can see improvements in your cognitive function, you can see significant improvements in your heart health, you can see significant improvements. I mean, for me, in my sinusitis, my nasal infections, and if many of you don't know this, nasal infections, sinus infections, are the #1 cause in the United States for antibiotics to be prescribed by a physician. So, yes, you heard me right, sinus infections. More than anything else in the United States, maybe globally, I don't know, probably maybe not globally, but in the United States at least, sinus infections are the leading cause of being prescribed antibiotics. A lot of people have sinus infections. And I found that while it hasn't completely fixed it, I can actually go for a couple of days now. I've been off my medicine. I've been off my nasal sprays for a couple of days, and I haven't gotten sick. Granted, I'm a little groggy, but I haven't gotten sick like I usually would. I haven't come down, and my immune system has improved so much that I literally feel that my immune system, something is fighting off illnesses, because I was getting so sick before, constantly with colds and constantly getting sick every couple of weeks. And I thought something might have been wrong with me, which is one reason why I kind of stayed away from getting my blood test done for a number of years. And finally, I went and actually got my blood work done. And I was paranoid, like, what the heck is wrong with me? But I didn't have any. I had my, I had STD work done, and I also had full panel, so they checked pretty much everything, and everything was more or less normal. I also had my heart checked, so I did like an EKG, and everything looked good, although I did have like low iron. The thing is that what was causing these complications was my diet. It was the food that I was consuming. The food I was consuming was not helping me. It was actually lowering my immune resistance, and it was causing my body, I suspect at this point, to constantly be in like go mode. Like, for example, I eat some broccoli and my body is basically trying to defend against an infection, because that's how it treats these foreign objects, because I'm allergic to plants. All right? Allergic to trees, I'm allergic to dirt, literal dirt, soil, I think, allergic to dust. So, what do you think? Obviously, it would make sense that I'm allergic to these as well. A lot of people are allergic to plants and they don't know it. And, unfortunately, we get that little food pyramid and it tells us, oh, you should eat this and this and this. But our bodies are so different, and genetically, like I said, some of us may be more genetically predispositioned to consume some foods versus other foods, just like we are capable of consuming lactose, while others can't, and a lot of that is genetic related. All right. So the complete elimination of carbs in the carnivore diet is not recommended or necessary for diabetes management. Instead, eating smaller amounts or wholesome high fiber carbs that don't cause spikes in blood sugar is recommended. However, I disagree with that. That's what came from the article. I disagree with that. because like I said, a lot of people are allergic. A lot of people are allergic to a number of different things. You could, for example, if you're seriously lactose intolerant or you have major lactose intolerance, you might say, well, how do you not know that you have it? Well, if you're able to consume some milk, and some people can, I think, can become more lactose intolerant as they get older, that actually is the case. For example, when babies are born, before everyone, like most people, had that gene that allowed them to digest milk, only babies could digest milk. Only babies could digest milk, and then after they got older, they could no longer digest it anymore. And so it is normal. It would be normal to become more lactose intolerant as you get older. However, the same thing, there's similarities when it comes to consumption of plants and other things. Soy, for example, can have drastic effects on like your hormone levels, which is shocking. I always thought I enjoyed soy, but I stopped consuming it years ago as I've been learning that soy for guys, for example, can actually increase levels of estrogen. In both men and women have estrogen and testosterone. Okay? The problem is when we don't have enough or we have too much. For example, if women don't have enough testosterone, it can actually create a number of serious problems. If they have too much testosterone, it can also create other issues. All right, there has to be balance. The same is said for men, right? We need to have our bodies balanced. We need to have our hormone levels balanced so that we can work optimally and feel healthier and better about ourselves and live higher quality lives. So I do disagree that, for example, diabetes management, you should not completely eliminate everything. Yeah, you should. You can start adding things back in. What's usually done, what most carnivore people who are serious do, is they eliminate everything. Everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. And then they just essentially focus on just eating meat. All right. So they usually start with beef, and then from there they start to see how they're feeling and how they're recovering, and then they can start adding back in different things. They can try some lettuce or some kale. They can try some creamer, and gradually they see how their body responds. Like, I just had broccoli. I'm just saying I haven't had any broccoli in a while. But like, for example, someone might say, well, okay, so I've been on the carnivore diet for a while now. I'm feeling pretty good. All right. And it's just an example. And okay, I'm going to try some broccoli. And they try broccoli, and all of a sudden they have massive stomach inflammation in their stomach. They develop gastrointestinal issues. Diarrhea has become more pronounced. And, they think, well, okay, what just happened? Because of, more than likely it was the broccoli. Okay, it's a lot of common sense. For example, if you're getting sick while eating soy, maybe you should consider the soy. But it's hard to know when you're consuming all these different foods. When you start eliminating things, you'll start seeing, wow. When you go down to like the bare minimums, when you go down to just consumption of meat, all right, specifically beef, you will see those added benefits. You'll see that major improvement in your health, how you feel, how you think. It is such a significant thing, So you really have to be on top of your game, and you have to be mindful, because it can really, really change your life and improve your health and just your overall sense of well-being. Also, guys, I do want to remind you that we have 2 new courses on cryptomoney.academy. Because right now is the time to be investing in crypto so that you can build up your wealth, because crypto is about to skyrocket through the roof. And right now the markets are extremely low, so you should be buying when everyone is selling and selling when everyone's buying. I've had plenty of time. So we have blockchain secrets that will make you rich. This course just dropped for $159. We also have cryptocurrency decentralized banking, and basically how to use crypto for banking, ATMs, and everything else. And again, right now, that's ensuring that you're building up your wealth and resources is something also that's really important. And another thing about carnivore, going back to carnivore for a moment, is that you'll start to save money at the grocery store, because you'll find that as you're focusing on specific meat cuts and so forth, you're going to spend less money on other things, and it's amazing. Like, carbs and all these other things, you'll love it. All right, you'll love it. All right, just give meat a chance. All right, meat is your friend. Animal fats are your friends. All right, they're there to help you. They're there to make you feel better. All right, they are cool. AP said, mentioned Dr. Carnviore. That's someone you can definitely check out, Dr. Carnviore. Huh? I like the, Pauline mentioned that he did detox. And I like to think of the keto F of carnivore as a detox, because it really is a detox. And one thing is, like, as you're detoxing your body, sometimes you will get sick, because your body is basically purging all of those toxins that have accumulated over a long period of time that no longer have a place. So, when your body's purging that out, a lot of time you will end up getting a bit sick, because those toxins are basically coming to the surface now, and they need to exit, and your body is no longer a place that will tolerate them. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. If you want to pick up a course from CryptoMoney.academy, you can find links in the description of the video. What has been your experience so far with with dieting? Do you think that the carnivore diet is a great diet for health and fitness? I mean, like I said, I've done martial arts. For those of you that are fans of the Cobra Kai series, I really think, those of you that want to get into martial arts, that want to learn how to optimize your health and your mental well-being, I think this is something that'll help you out. I want to say, just shout out again to like all my new Cobra Kai Karate Kid fans, because I know you guys are like new to the channel, and you guys are like, what the heck? Yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Anyway, love God, get money, and cheers. See you in the next one.